So does that mean you won't be doing a retrospective anytime soon?
It's all retrospective.
It's some kind of a rough retrospective that somebody drew up when they were thinking about turning the house into a museum.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Talk Word. This is the show where we take one interesting English word, pull it apart, and figure out exactly how to use it so you can sound like a pro. Ready? Let's dive in. You know, we all do this. A big project wraps up, a school year is finally over, or maybe it's just the end of a really long week. We can't help but kind of pause and look back. We think about the good, the bad, and what we actually learned from it all. But have you ever been in that moment thinking about all that stuff and wondered, wait, is there a specific word for this? For this act of intentionally looking back to learn something? Well, yes, there absolutely is. And the word is retrospective. Now, I know it sounds a little fancy, maybe a little academic, but trust me, once you see how it's built, it's actually super simple. So to really get this word, we're not just going to memorize it. No, we're going to crack its code. We're going to break it down into its original pieces, which is seriously the best way to make it stick in your brain forever. So at its core, retrospective is really just two old Latin parts that have been mashed together, retro and spective. Let's take a look at each one. And what's awesome is how logical this is. Retro simply means backwards. Just think of retro video games or retro fashion. It's all about looking back to an earlier style. And spective, well, that comes from a Latin word that means to look. You can see it in other words you know, like spectacles or inspect. So when you glue them back together, retro, backwards, spective, to look. Retrospective, literally, and I mean literally, just means to look backwards. See? I told you it was simple. Okay, so now that we've got the secret code, let's check out the official modern-day definition of the word. And here it is. The meaning is pretty much exactly what we figured out. It's all about looking back on or dealing with past events. The key thing here is that it's not just a casual glance back. It implies a more focused, thoughtful kind of review. Knowing what it means is one thing, but the real goal here is to be able to use it correctly in a real conversation. So let's see how it actually works out in the wild. Now, this is super important. Retrospective is one of those cool words that can do two jobs. It can be an adjective, a describing word, or it can be a noun, which is the name of a thing. So first, let's see it as an adjective. In this sentence, the word retrospective is describing the exhibition. It's telling us what kind of exhibition it is. It's not a show of new stuff. It's a show that looks back over the artist's whole career. And now, look at this. Here it is as a noun. In this case, a retrospective isn't describing something else. It is the thing. It's the name of the meeting they held. This is super common in the business world. Teams will have a retrospective to talk about what went well and what didn't. All right, now it's over to you. Because the absolute best way to make a new word part of your vocabulary is to connect it to your own life. So just take a second and think about it. What's something in your life, big or small, that you could hold a retrospective on? Maybe it was a project you just finished for school, a trip you took last year, or even a personal goal like trying to learn a new skill. Holding a little personal retrospective is just a fantastic way to learn from your own experiences. And hey, now you have the perfect word for it. And there you go. You've totally mastered a really useful, really smart sounding word. If you enjoyed this way of breaking down language and you want to keep building that vocabulary, then you should definitely check out the Talk Word app. You can explore tons of words and even create your own little word explainers just like this one for any word you want to master. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.